Hey guys, I wanted to come on here today to provide some clarity and, excuse me, therefore some comfort to everyone regarding what's been going on with this time with the coronavirus and its impact on people. You may notice from the title of this video, I kind of used a play on words of a title of a famous book, a classic book called Love in the Time of Cholera. It's a good book, so if you haven't read it, definitely check it out. It's a fiction book. This is not a fiction video, this is truth. But anyway, I credit that book for this title of this video. Other than that, it's different. um, so, um, I want to say that this video is, if you're experiencing a twin flame journey, obviously this is for you, but this video is also meant and will help people provide clarity to them and comfort to them if they aren't experiencing a twin flame journey right now. So if you know anyone who could benefit from this video, that it could help, that may be experiencing what I'm going to talk about today, please feel free to share it with them. Don't hold back. We're all in this together, and truth is truth. So, truth is truth, regardless what, kind of journey you're on right now. It's the truth for everyone, all humans. So if we can help out, the most we can help out, the more we can help out, the better, for sure. So welcome. So, if you're already on experiencing a twin flame journey, you're very familiar with feeling lonely, with feeling isolated, right? Because you're thrust into this journey not by conscious choice. Your twin flame, physically leaves you, blocks you, or keeps coming and then leaving again, using your heart as a revolving door. Right there, you feel cut off from them. You feel very lonely in that respect. Not only that, you have no one really to talk to who understands you. Your friends think you're crazy. They don't understand what you're going through. And then, of course, then you think you're crazy. You don't even recognize yourself. So right there, that's the loneliest thing of all. You feel like you don't even know yourself anymore. You lose yourself, so to speak. You feel like you lose yourself. And, there's many people also on the twin flame journey who end up realizing that, hey, they're in relationships with and stuck with people who they no longer have feels for, and so sometimes being with someone who you aren't really resonating with and you aren't getting along with and you don't have feelings for, and being stuck with them can make you actually feel lonely, even though you're with someone else, right? Because you're no longer connecting with them and resonating with them and jiving with them, at least not as much as you once did. So there's all of that going on already with the twin flame journey if you're experiencing that. And that's the whole point of the twin flame journey, is to, like all my students in my Magnetize Your Twin Flame coaching program, you learn how to totally transcend that, because you learn how to love yourself and you never feel lonely again. And you actually feel great and amazing even at this time. And, because you learn how to love yourself. And of course, that's the whole point of this twin flame journey, or it's supposed to be. So having said that, there are people not experiencing twin flame journey, many, many people across the planet who are still feeling very alone and isolated. Either, they're being sequestered or quarantined or isolated in their homes with no one else, alone by themselves. And a great fear of most people is that they cannot be alone. We'll address how to fix that in this video. But, so they're feeling very lonely and isolated in that regard. Also, there are people who are stuck isolated with certain people and, other people who they don't have feels for, they really don't want to be stuck with. And, that's also, it gets annoying, but at the same time makes you feel lonely because you're with another person, yet seemingly, they don't get you, you don't get them, and you're just not jiving with them. And so you feel lonely anyway. And so all of this is because why? Because it boils down to the fact that you don't feel happy just with yourself. You don't feel full and complete with yourself. And, if you're stuck with someone else who you don't have the feels for, if you feel lonely when you're with someone else, that means you don't really like that person you're with, right? Or you definitely don't love them. And so if you aren't comfortable being alone, with yourself, then you don't love yourself. But that's okay, because no one really tells you like how to love yourself, right? Like, how do we do this? So that's what I'm going to try to start to address in this video. Of course, this is way bigger than any one video. So, but we're going to try to address it here. And so, how do we love ourselves? Well, first you have to figure out like, what is love, right? Love is a state of being. Love is an energy. It's a frequency. Like everything else, it's energy. And it is the strongest energy that exists because it is the exact same frequency of energy as the universe, or, source, God, goddess, the creator of all that is, whatever you want to call that, wherever you deem that you were created from and everything was created from. That source of that creation, that energy, that frequency is love. And it's the strongest frequency there is, obviously, because it's most powerful, because it created everything, right? So that is love. And incidentally, you are that energy as well, because you are a direct spark from that energy. And by you, I don't mean your mind, I don't mean your body, I don't mean anything physical that you see in this physical world of yourself, your hands or anything like that. I mean you, the part of you that still exists after you leave this physical world, and in between every physical world, the part of you that is your essence, your being, your core essence of energy. That energy frequency is your soul, and that is directly from source energy, the universe, the creator, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it. And that energy is your soul, and you're directly from that, so you also have that same frequency of love, and that's who you are. So love is your energetic state of being. It's your natural state of being, and that is your soul. So really, love. To love ourselves, we need to really get back in touch with who we truly are, on that energetic core essence of ourselves, on that frequency. And it may sound complex or out there to do this, but it's really not. It's truth. It's the divine truth of everyone and who we all are. And so therefore, like all truth, it is simple. It may not be so simple to implement because we have a little thing called our mind, which gets in the way. But it is simple. It is just that simple. We need to get back to who we truly are in order to love ourselves, because love is ourselves. That's what we are. It is a state of being. It's an energy. It's an energetic state of being. So how do we do that? Well, the great mystic Rumi, he said, your task is not to seek for love, but to merely to seek and find out all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So that's what we have to do. We have to, in order to get closer to our true selves, which is love, we need to find the barriers within ourselves that we have built against it. And, we have barriers built against it because even as a newborn, as a baby, as when you first come into this world, from almost that very moment, barriers are being placed within you. As you learn every little thing of this physical world, and as you're taught it from your families or, from society, and then even just things that you deduce in your own mind and you analyze things as, all of that are barriers. That's all limitation. It's all limitation, because when you come, the first second that you come into this earth, into this lifetime, you are your soul, without any kind of mental knowledge. The mental knowledge, builds up barriers, because always with the mind is a filter, and the mind is a bias, and it's judgy, and, it's fear-based. And so in order to get back to love, we need to cut through all that fear and remove that fear. Because as you will see, fear is actually the opposite of love. But we'll get to that. So, by the way, everything that I'm talking about here, I discuss in my book, Love Exposed, which is available for sale on Amazon, just $9.99. If you want to go more into this, you could definitely check that out. It will go into more of what I'm going to talk about in this video, and then even more into like dealing with all different types of relationships, and then action steps on what you can do to actually help remove these barriers of love on the energetic level permanently. But And that book is written for everyone, not just people experiencing a twin flame journey. But I'm going to go through the common barriers that many people, most of us, have built up to love. And these are more like misconceptions, because they are not truth, and because they are built up from our minds and from what we're conditioned to believe, and these limitations that have been placed upon us from society and our parents and our friends and just our own experiences. And these are actually barriers to love. So I'm just going to go through some of the common ones that most of humankind experience in one form or another, and hopefully this will help you to understand and kind of resonate with what I'm getting at here, how there are limitations and barriers and how we just need to work through those within ourselves, like Rumi said, to really shift closer into alignment with our true self, our true self, which is love. So the first barrier I'm going to talk about is, a misconception again, and that misconception is that love is a feeling. Love is not a feeling per se. Feelings happen from, well, what we think are feelings, surface feelings, emotions. They happen from our mind, and they come from our beliefs and our thoughts, right? So if we have a positive feeling, we're feeling positive about something, it's because there's a thought form back behind that feeling that we're believing is a good thought, a good thing, right? Positive. If we have negative feelings, it's because we have a thought form behind that feeling that we're believing is negative or bad. And so that's what causes our emotions and feelings. These are called surface feelings. Why are they surface feelings? Because they are emotional and they change. They fluctuate. You don't constantly feel positive and good. You have, a lot of times you have to consciously get yourself there, and you get that by how? Thinking positive thoughts, right? And so, but that, you don't stay there forever. You automatically come back down. So they fluctuate. They go up and down, which is fine, which is perfect. I mean, it's how the paradigm is here in the physical 3D world. But love is not a feeling, like I already explained. Love is a state of being. It is an energy and a frequency. And yes, that energy and frequency, when you're in that state of being, you feel it. You feel just, peace and contentment and joy and bliss and gratitude and abundance and whole and complete. And you feel it. You feel it because you no longer miss or want or long for anything, and you just know that everything is just perfect, right? You just know it, and not in your head, but in your being, in your resonance. And so that is a feeling, yes, but it's a soul feeling. It's your soul feeling, and it doesn't change. It's constant. So by many people think that I feel love with this person, or I feel love for this, or love for that, and you don't. That's not actually love. I mean, you could like it very much or whatever, but love is a state of being. It is not a feeling like that. It is not an emotional feeling. So right there, that's barrier number one, is to resonate with that love is not a feeling. It is a state of being. It's an energy. It's a frequency. And you can shift into that energy and frequency, or closer into it, because that is your true energy and frequency of yourself. But it is not a feeling or emotion like we tend to think feelings and emotions are, and tend to use the word love in that regard. So the next barrier is that hate is the opposite of love. Hate is not the opposite of love. Like I mentioned earlier, fear is the opposite of love. Love is fearless. So therefore, if you have any fear, there's no love. If you're in love, shift it into this energetic state of love. If you're in that state of love, then there is no fear. You're fearless. So a lot of people think hate is the opposite of love. It is not. Hate is one of those surface emotions that, fluctuate, go up and down and all of that. Fear, on the other hand, is an energetic state of being from which hate can be produced. But it's fear that is the opposite of love. And fear and love cannot coexist. For the physical world, for the third dimension, 3D that we live in, the 3D paradigm is one of fear. Fear-based energy, this frequency, it only exists in the 3D paradigm. in the third dimension. It doesn't exist in the realm of the soul or on the other dimension, which is actually why we do incarnate here. I mean, that's a whole other story and video, but that's why we incarnate here is to experience fear so that we can learn to love ourselves, because you have to experience the opposite of something in order to know what the other something is. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we do have fear. But fear is only in the physical world. And what else is of the physical world and only the physical world? Our minds and our bodies, right? So when we have like thoughts and stuff that originate in our minds and all of this, they're fear-based because our mind is fear-based because it is of the physical world. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not bashing our minds. I mean, it's great to use your mind and have intelligence and all of that. That's perfect. But it's the truth of the matter. It's fear-based. And so we have to unlearn kind of what we learned in our mind a lot. And we have to get out of our minds in order to shift into our soul, our trueness, our true frequency of love. Because they cannot coexist. You cannot have fear and love together because they are opposites. And and another thing about that. So fear, as we can see with this whole coronavirus pandemic, fear is very prevalent right now. It's a very prevalent worldwide kind of almost like communal feeling energy right now going on. I mean, the fear level of energy has risen so much because of this. I mean, not saying judging that as a bad thing or anything, but that's just what's happened, right? So, of course, there's just so much more fear around there, and you can just see it and you can sense it. And, acting out of fear is not acting out of love. And, it's kind of like a pick and choose game when you are incarnated here, that you do still have one foot always in the physical world as long as you're still alive. So it's kind of like pick and choose. Of course you need to be safe for your own physical safety, and take precautions and be sensible there. But at the same time, you don't really need to totally buy into all the fear and the panic and the anxiety about other things that are completely out of your control, right? You really don't. So there is a balancing act there, and that's like what my students and I do. I'm just so proud of all my students. They're just taking this all in stride. So many of them have said that they just, would have been going off the rails right now if they hadn't, been on this twin flame journey and worked in my Magnetize Your Twin Flame coaching program. So again, if you are on a twin flame journey and you want help with this, please click the link below this video, schedule a call with one of our team members. We will help you map out a plan to deal with your own twin flame journey during this time and forever. And, and see if we could help you and you're a good fit for our Magnetize Your Twin Flame coaching program. We have opened up more spaces in it now, and for the duration of this pandemic, just to help people. And so definitely click the link to schedule a call. But anyway, so the fear-based energy, we really don't need to feed into it as much, as we are. Yes, you can be sensible. Yes, you can be smart about things, but you don't have to feed into the panic and the anxiety, because it just builds upon itself. Fear, when you feed it by believing it, by focusing on it, it just grows. And so it feeds on itself and just builds up and up and up and up. And I mean, anything that goes up, has to come back down. So, yeah, it's gonna come crashing back down again, and you're gonna feel even worse. So, we don't want to build up that fear. We want to build up it as little as possible, and not even focus on that as much, right? So instead, we can focus on shifting into love. This is what if this is the universe's way to get people who aren't even on a twin flame journey, but so much of the planet, so much of humanity, to focus on loving themselves, to be alone, so that they have to learn how to be alone with themselves, how to love themselves, and how to actually cherish and enjoy being alone with themselves, like me and my students do. It's pretty much what is going on here. This is like a reset for the universe. And so if you do have the time now, this is the time to do it. This is a great opportunity to really look at this as a gift to yourself, in a way, to focus on yourself and to learn how to shift closer into alignment with your true self, which is love, which is permanent, which means you will never feel lonely again. Okay, going on to the next barrier, as I digress there. I apologize for that. Love is a verb. Love is not a verb. That's misconception number 3. We can say, we love him. She loves her. He loves us. But, that's me using love as an action, as a verb. And again, it's not a verb, just like it's not a feeling. It is an what? Energy, a frequency, an energetic state of being. So you don't love, you are love. So if you just shift into love, you don't need to even, do anything in terms of telling people you love them or whatever. You are love, and that radiates from you. And, anyone else who is meant to resonate with that, with your true self, and, who you could have the most fulfilling relationships with, no more toxic relationships will exist. All those kind of things, they will gravitate towards you. You will magnetize those people to you. So remember, love is not a verb. It is an energetic state of being, your natural state of being. Okay, barrier number 4, misconception number 4, love takes work and requires sacrifice. This is a very, very common, limiting belief here. Love does not take work. Remember, love is who you are. So when you shift into that, who you truly are, all you have to do is be. You just be. That's like not working at all. It's just being, right? No work at all there. And in terms of sacrifice, there's no such thing as sacrifice when it comes to love. Sacrifice is a fear-based thing. And I know you're conditioned to think it's selfish not to give of yourself if you love someone and like all of that, but no. When you are in love with yourself, in other words, shift it into your true energetic frequency of vibration of love. When you are in love yourself, you put yourself first. You must put yourself first, because you have to love yourself first before you can love anyone and anything else. And you're already loved, so you're in that state of love. So you just naturally know your truth. You resonate with your truth, and you make your truth your bond. I mean, integrity just comes naturally to you. Shift into that, where you are true to your truth, true to yourself, and your truth becomes so clear that you will accept nothing else but your truth. And so to sacrifice means you're almost, it implies a giving up of something, or losing something. And that's not at all it is. When you're in love, you're full. You get all the abundance of the universe. And yes, you magnetize into that into your physical life as well. It's another bonus. But besides from that, you just feel abundant. You feel whole and complete. And, there's no sacrifice in that at all. To sacrifice anything that you truly desire would be not being true to you, and that would not be love. That would be taking you out of love, because love is truth, and love is being true to yourself. So that's another one right there. The next barrier, misconception. And I can't read my writing. I wrote this down so I could remember, and now I can't even read it. Oh, yes. If someone loves you, they would do X for you, right? So you might hear people say, like your friends or your mother or something, like, well, if he really loved you, he would put a ring on your finger, right? Or he would marry you or whatever. And no, because again, first of all, like we already said, love is not a verb. Therefore, it's not a deed. It is an energetic state of being. It's not about what anyone else does. It's about you being in resonance with your true vibration of love. And then, you just know what your true desires are, and they have nothing, hint, they have nothing, no dependence on anything or anyone else outside of you. And think of the freedom in that, actually, the empowerment. You no longer have to depend on anyone or anyone else to feel whole, complete, happy, like successful or anything. It's just complete and utter freedom. And that is what love is, freedom and empowerment. But, not only does that imply that it's a deed, if someone, if he loved you, he would put a ring on it or whatever. No, it also implies, it puts some expectation on someone else. And expectations are not love. I read somewhere, and I a bit, I've adopted this phrase that expectations are premeditated resentments, and that's exactly what they are. When you put an expectation on someone, that means what? You are, trying to look to them to do something for you or with you or whatever. And right there, that's what? Relying on them to do something and depending on them. Love is freedom, it's independence, it's empowerment. It has nothing to do with no other person at all. Nothing. So right there, we don't want to put any expectations on anyone else. That's not fair to them, and it's certainly not fair to you, because that means you're out of love. You're not in love. Okay, the next barrier or misconception is that love is sweet, sentimental, and soft. No, love is tough. Love is strong. Love is powerful. Love is all powerful. Remember, your true being, your true essence, your soul is love. Your soul is transdimensional, timeless, limitless, boundless, eternal, infinite, omnipresent, miraculous. It's all of these things. I mean, it transcends all space, time, and boundaries. It is miraculous. It is the strongest energy there is next to source energy. It's directly descended from source energy. So it is not soft. It is not sentimental. Sentimentality is looking to the past, right? Love is your true being. And when you be, you are present. You're not in the past. You're not focused on the past. You're not even focused on the future. Which, by the way, there come expectations, right? Focused on the future. It's not. You're present. You are being and you're present, and that's where you find yourself. That's how you get into your natural state of being, into your state of love. That's how the only way you can love yourself is in the now, in the present moment. So there's no room for sentimentality. There's no room for expectation or anticipation. None of that exists when you are in love. When you're in love, you are being and you are just good. You're perfect in that moment and in every moment, in the now moment. And finally, the final barrier and misconception I will talk about is love. Love is butterflies and passion. No, it is not. Butterflies and passion. Remember what I said in the beginning of the video. When you have emotions and feelings that don't last forever, they're served as feelings and emotion. They're not love. Love is constant. Love is eternal. Love is forever. Not to sound like a diamond commercial, but love is forever. Butterflies and those passion feelings aren't. Butterflies and passion, even though they feel good, they're still part of fear-based energy. Fear-based energy can be positive feelings, like those buildups, like excitement, that anticipation, like all those kind of like build-up feelings that we have as people in the physical sense. They are also fear-based energy. They're just fear-based energy of your thoughts, of believing your thoughts very positively, right? But it's still fear-based energy. And you may think, well, if it feels good, what's wrong with it? Why not? There's nothing wrong with any of this. Of course not. It's the way we're created and it's all perfect. What always happens though, when you're flying high off something, what happens? You have to come down. Those butterflies don't last forever. The honeymoon period with anything, and there's a honeymoon period with everything in the physical world, from relationships to friendships to cars to new jobs to new houses to new clothes. Everything has a honeymoon period, right? When you first get it, you're so excited and that new car smell and everything's awesome. And then all of a sudden, after a while, you're just like, whatever. You become used to it and it's just like, whatever, right? So that initial honeymoon feeling, that those butterflies, the buildup, that'll never last. That's not permanent. Love is permanent. It does not change. It does not fluctuate. It does not go up and down. It's a constant because it's you, and you are eternal. You are constant. You don't change. You don't change. Everything in the physical world in fear changes. It's a dynamic, changing place. In the realm of the soul, it doesn't change. It's forever. It's eternal. So, it constantly grows and evolves, but, it doesn't change. The feeling is always just constant. It's peace, it's content, it's bliss, it's abundance, it's anything that, you could think is just perfect. It's just perfection. And I mean, there's really no words to describe it because words are limitation and they don't do it justice. But, it doesn't take, you're not going to shift all the way into alignment with your soul and your true self in this lifetime. Most likely, none of us probably will on the planet right now, as that would be ascension. But, you know, um, it doesn't take that. It just takes a tiny little shift, and you feel so much more amazing. You'll see and feel the difference. You'll just be the difference, and then all of a sudden, then you will magnetize the difference in showing up. You'll see it showing up in your physical reality as well. Um, so yeah, I hope this video helped to provide some clarity and some comfort, and maybe something to think about while you are alone in isolation or alone in isolation with someone you are not feeling, and you have some time on your hands. And if you're feeling panicky or anxious, come watch this video, take it to heart, try to resonate with it, and try to implement some of these things. Try to notice these barriers within yourself. And if you'd like to learn exactly how to implement them, remember, this is all taken from my book, Love Exposed, available on Amazon. And if you are experiencing a twin flame journey, we are here to help. The link is below this video. Schedule your free call with one of our team members. We will take you through a plan on how to get through this time and advance along your journey permanently and learn the real lesson of this journey, which is meant to be learned, which is to love yourself and to shift into this state of love, into your true state of being, and to break through your barriers of fear. And if you're not experiencing this twin flame journey, we have started a free Facebook group for you as well to help you deal with this time and to implement the truth that I talked about into your life, irrespective of a twin flame journey, because this is the universe also nudging you to learn more about yourself and to love yourself. You don't need the twin flame journey to do it. And everything happens for a reason. And so this is why this is happening on such a global, large scale right now to humanity, because it's time. Humanity needs to start paying attention to themselves, to loving themselves, to shifting into this frequency of vibration out of fear into love. So anyway, join our free Facebook group. That link is also below this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe, be well, have an amazing day, and lots of love.